Hello and welcome back to Writing 101, episode 8. What if I write something and I don't like it? First off, you probably will. Most writers that I know have written something that they didn't love. There are a few things you can do. Hopefully some of these might help. The first choice you have is that you can, in fact, abandon the story. It's dead, it's over, I'm just letting it go. Sometimes that's the right choice. With your own work, I feel like it is your choice to make. However, there are things you can do to help you make that choice. One thing you can do to make that choice is to shelf the story. Understand that maybe I'll come back to it, maybe I won't, but I'm going to sit it over here, and if I come back and it's interesting again, or something else occurs to me or whatever, I can absolutely pick it back up. That gives you no responsibility to do so, but gives you the opportunity to. Work through it. You can absolutely sit down and force yourself to get through it. Whether or not you're going to like that is kind of dependent on just like everything else. It is an option, and for some people, it is a great option. You could rewrite it from scratch. Let's say that you don't like what's written, but you do like the premise, or you do like the idea, or you like one character. You can absolutely take that thing, ditch what you've done, and go back and redo it. That is an acceptable solution. A lot of people do it, and it's definitely worth it if you're going to be unhappy with the outcome without doing so. Or you can incorporate part of it into something else you're doing. You can incorporate the story as a secondary story in another story. You can use the character to fill in a blank that you have in another story you're working on. You can take themes and move them over to other stories. There are probably 100 ways that you can absolutely switch things up and take some of the things from something you've written that you may or may not love and use it in a way that might be incredibly useful to you. Another thing you can do is let someone else check it out. Sometimes we just need another set of eyes. Having someone mention a few things that they think might happen in the future might trigger something. Having them mention what they like about it might trigger something. Having another set of eyes on it, someone you can bounce ideas off of, that can be very useful and help you to move along on a story that you might think is dead. Another thing I like to do is to use an automated reader. Having something read out loud to me seems to help my brain envision it in a different way. That often will make me think about it differently, and then when I sit down to write again, it kind of triggers. I don't usually read the whole thing. Usually I read the last couple pages, see how that works. If that doesn't work, I might go back to the beginning and listen to some of the beginning and see if I can pick up that inspiration that I had when I very first started. You can also read something that is similar to what you're writing. If you're writing a fantasy story, read other fantasy stories. If you're writing sci-fi, read other sci-fi. This can be helpful in helping you to notice tropes or think of things that you might have expected them to do in another story, and then seeing how that might trigger a thought in your own head and open up an idea. And the last thing is to go for a walk, look out a window, get on your computer and surf through pictures of places that you've never been to before that might trigger a response, places you have been to before that you miss, things like that. Those kinds of things can trigger thoughts and can make you feel much better and help you to feel inspired and ready to work. That does it for this week. I want to thank you guys all so much for hanging out with me and for watching. Don't forget that this series runs every other Wednesday. On the off Wednesdays, I have the AuthorTube NewTubers videos, which consist of a list of new AuthorTubers that you can go and subscribe to. Right after the AuthorTube NewTubers videos at 8 p.m. on every other Wednesday night, which is the AuthorTuber week, I will be on Extreme Drowess over on twitch.tv/PlasticAgePlays. If you want to go join us over there, we are doing a Dungeons & Dragons all drow adventure. We are quite a ways into it, so going and watching some of the backlog wouldn't be a horrible idea either. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope you have a wonderful week and good writing. Bye!